Literally, little over two more weeks started football. 2 more weeks. Just got to make 2 more weeks. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, it's day 6 of training camp. If my calculations are, I literally just got home. Normally, I go back and check the other days of training camp videos, and then I tell you, hey, it was day this. But like I said, I just got home, so day 6. I'm going with 6. I think it says 6 down there. Got some press conferences today, but we are going to jump right into the fat of the matter. We're going to jump into this section of the title. Miami Dolphins have waived Curtis Weaver, our 5th-round pick out of Boise State. He has a serious foot injury from what I'm hearing from the sources in the team. And a lot of people are asking, hey, why the flip? Did they not just put him on IR and not, why'd they waive him? This is from Joe Shad. He says, until the first cut day, injured non-vested players must be placed on waiver through the waiver/injury destination before they go on IR. This prevents teams from stashing young players once they clear waivers. He reverts to the team's IR. So essentially what that means is Curtis Weaver, if he clears waivers, which I am 90% positive he's going to clear waivers because of how serious the foot injury is, he will go on IR and he's done for the year. Unfortunately, I had high hopes for Curtis Weaver, like I talk about him constantly. Should have been drafted in the 3rd round. We got him in the 5th. Very good edge-setting pass rusher. But again, he's waived. We have to wait. Hopefully, by this time tomorrow, he clears waivers and we put him on IR. Really sucks to hear about Curtis Weaver. Now, Curtis Weaver and Vince Beagle both going to be on IR. Again, hopefully Curtis Weaver is. But that's the big news. Now, before I jump into the big stuff, I had to get that out first because that's big. It literally broke on my way home from work. I have to shout out a new Patreon or new Patreon, whatever you call it. Antonio Hill, $20 patron. Thank you so much for joining. You are now one of the MVPs. Next time I go live, which will be September 5th. A lot of you guys asking, hey, when you go live? I normally go live every other weekend. But being that I moved, kind of put things out of whack, September 5th, I will be going live 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is a Saturday. And if you are a patron, let me know and you will become a mod. We'll be talking about the preview for the Miami Dolphins season. Talk about all that stuff. So again, mark it on your calendars. September 5th, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This guy's going live. But yeah, other than that, and again, thank you for the Patreon. Thank you for joining the Patreon. One last thing. I have so many things to talk about. This video, it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff because we still have Brian Flores' press conference. We have Preston Williams' press conference. We have Kyle Van Noy press conference, and we have Fitzpatrick conference. And then we have all the good stuff and some of the bad stuff that happened today. But before we jump into that, I keep saying before we jump into that, maybe I'll put that on my next merch. Miami Dolphins over the weekend signed linebacker/safety Nate Hawley, from the Canadian Football League. Very good sign for the Dolphins, especially with the injuries that were kind of sustaining. Very good, fast, physical safety. Love the move on that. And came out that the Miami Dolphins are allowing 20% of the fans to be at that first home game against the Buffalo Bills, which is 13,000 fans. Bills head coach is very upset about that, says it's not unfair, but hey, what are you going to do? If you can't beat us with 13,000 fans versus no fans, then you're not good enough. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. And the last thing I will talk about before we jump into the press conferences and what happened at camp today, Earl Thomas got cut. A lot of people want to know, and I asked you guys on Twitter, hey, should I make a video talking about Earl Thomas? Should the Dolphins go after him? And emphatically, a lot of you guys said no. And the reason I put yes and I put no, because we're probably not going to go after him, I would say a good amount of you guys said no. So I didn't. And I agree. So I'm going to talk about it real quick. Dolphins will not be going after Earl Thomas. For one, he's going to ask for a lot of money. He got $22 million for 1 year from Baltimore. I don't know if you can hear that thunder, but yes, that was thunder. He's got $22 million from Baltimore. Also, he probably doesn't want to come to a team that's on the up and rise. He wants to go to a contender. And the stories that are coming out about him, Brian Flores doesn't want any part of that. So that's all I got to say about that. Let's jump into these press conferences. Brian Flores talking about Preston Williams' touchdown on Noah Igbenogany. He says it wasn't a blown coverage, was it a blown coverage? Not a blown coverage. A mental error. What you guys see on the play is a little deceiving. He talks about the false negatives. If you guys don't know, there's been a ton of false negatives coming out with the COVID tests. And he says this is a moving target. We talked about this since day one. If we do that from a testing standpoint, you may lose a player for a day, but for the safety of the entire team or an organization, that's a small sacrifice. So essentially what is happening is if there's a false positive, a false negative, false positive. Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm trying to say. They'll just retest them the next day, and if it comes back negative, so it's a false positive, they're fine. They'll play. It's not a big deal. Talks about Preston Williams again. He says, anyone who can return punts, we're going to work him back there. With injuries a year ago, we want to be cautious. We want to watch the amount of reps we're putting on him. He's working hard and wants to be out there. He wants to be out there every snap. I feel like Brian Flores, are you watching my videos? Because I was very upset with that you had him returning punt returns because I don't want him getting injured, especially how well he's doing in camp this year. You watching my videos? If you are, hello. I like what you're doing with the team so far. Keep it up and bring us to Super Bowl, please. But yeah, he's saying to me, he's saying, hey, Doug, listen, shut up. I'm going to have him back. He wants to do punt returns. I'm going to have him on punt returns. Preston Williams wants more snaps. I'm going to give him more snaps. We're going to be cautious, but Doug, shut up. So he told me to shut up. I'm sorry. I will shut up. He says the walkthrough on a Sunday, which again, it was not allowed to the media. It was more for the state. It was at the stadium. He says it was good to get a lot of the new players to see the environment from the locker room to the training room, locating the 40-second clock, which is the play clock, things like that nature. So it's just a nice walkthrough, getting acclimated because, again, 2 weeks, boys, 2 weeks. 2 more Sundays, and the Miami Dolphins will be in New England beating the New England Patriots. Talks about Nate Hawley. Like I said, the new pickup we got. He's fast, tough, and as far as positions, we are going to have him at safety role, safety and special teamers. He plays some linebacker as well. So, yes, he played linebacker in the Canadian Football League, but with the Miami Dolphins, he will be playing that good old big ass. Talks about Fitzpatrick. He says every day Fitz does something that makes it hard to believe he's 37 years old. He's a leader. He even talks about how Flores is 39 and he watches Fitz do things and he's thinking to himself, I don't want to go in that huddle and make those snaps and do that stuff. Get the out of here. Talks about Xavier Howard, which we're all hoping and praying within this next week or two he comes off of that PUP list. He says X is working his way back from a conditioning standpoint. Getting your legs back is it's very early. We're going to try to progress this one day at a time. If we feel like he's ready to go, we'll make the transaction, which means we will take him off the PUP. So if X is ready to go, they'll do the move. If not, they're going to keep bringing him along slowly. He says, I don't want to dive too deep into that one day Fitz wasn't here. Because everyone was asking, hey, that one day Fitz wasn't here. Tua and Rosen didn't do too swift. He said, I don't want to talk about it. Regarding, regardless of the quarterback, who the quarterback is, there are 10 other guys on the field that have to handle their responsibilities. And that is very, very true. I will say I noticed something when it comes to the quarterback play. A lot of drop balls. Now, we talked about the wide receiver position being deep. There's a lot of drop balls. Not from Parker or for Williams, but from the other guys. And if you're a second tier, third tier, you're running with those numbers at a quarterback, it's a little difficult when the guys are dropping balls, because I was listening and watching a bunch of things and seeing some of these catchable balls were being dropped, and it kind of skews the number. Again, I'm going to really quickly tell you guys what Fitz, Williams, and Kyle Van Noy, not Kyle Van Noy, sorry, Ginkle said, and then we're going to jump into what you guys really want to hear. Fitz says he's played in colleges with less than 13,000 fans, so he's not too worried about it. He talks about Preston Williams. He says he's a great guy to watch. He has a great guy to watch in Parker. His physical traits are unique. We're able to take a step back, learn from rehab. Confidence is high right now. And coming from the king of confidence, Fitzpatrick, that is a very good thing to hear. He says they want the way Parker and Williams are showing up every day gives our team a lot of confidence going forward. 2 starting caliber, big, physical, fast wide receivers. See them come in, do their thing like a chicken wing, and be dynamic makes the rest of the team want to do better. As the season goes on, we will be playing to our strengths, and I think that's something that will evolve as soon as we do. You saw it last year. The season went on, they started figuring things out, and they started to play better. It's going to take a little bit more time. Again, there's not a full offseason, but expect that a little slow churn. And do I think they'll lose week 1? No, but expect a slow churn. He talks about Tua. He's doing a great job. For quarterbacks, I like to see progress. Sometimes it's necessarily a competition. It's not necessarily a completion, but the thought process and making sure the ball goes to the right spot at the right time. Sometimes things won't look pretty, but it was the right decision. Sorry, I couldn't get that out. For one, my handwriting is scribble, and I am dyslexic. Also, listening to me mumble that out, did you get the feeling he kind of sounded like a coach? Especially when he said, for quarterbacks, I like to see progress. Maybe Fitz is the next coach. Let's talk about Ginkle. Spent the offseason with the strengths coaching, improving in all areas, especially with deciding and determining to get stronger. He even talks more about getting stronger when he says, I'm taking on big O-linemen and tight end. They have a lot of weight on me, especially at the point of attack. I need to take them on. He's getting bigger, stronger. And then he even talks about, in terms of point of attack, I need to help set the edge. Coming from a guy who played defensive end, setting the edge, 1, is hard, and 2, incredibly important to help the interior guys and your linebackers and stop the run. You want to force that running back to the inside, because if they can bounce it outside, sometimes, no offense to my cornerbacks, they're easier to break. And a little 1-2 step. It's more worried about technique, not necessarily the playbook, which, yeah, I think he's got it all up here. It's more getting it on the field, which, again, I said is a huge factor to having Zoom meetings. You get the playbook. That's all fine and dandy. Understand where the X's and O's are and where I got to go. But to implement it is a little bit more difficult. And he says this defense with the Miami Dolphins is chess, not checkers. So you gotta have a noggin up in your brain. And then Preston Williams talked about his injury last year. He says, it's not his first rodeo. I just know I had to work hard. I work my bloop off. I'm happy to be out there with these guys. So he's been injured before. He says it is what it is. He talks about getting better from year 1. Just getting my feet wet. I feel like I could have caught more balls. Pause. Got some games slowed down a little bit too, so I think I can have a better year. Yeah, he dropped a few, especially in that Cowboys game. He dropped a few that probably would have helped us win the game. He talks about the offense. He says it's simple and unique. My body type is like Brandon Marshall, who had a huge year in this offense in 2015. And then finally, he talks about getting open, the number 1 job. Gailey gives his wide receivers more time to get to work on the DBs to get open. And that is the press conferences. That is all the little tidbits of information. I got that right in a bag that's over there. If you give a crap, you're probably like, Doug, I don't give a crap. Tell me what happened today. Well, I'm about to. So you guys, I put a comment in the community, and some of you guys are like, what, did you have a bad day? On the contraire. I was going to say more French, but I can't. Tua had a ridiculous day. Absolute ridiculous day from Tua today. Tua today. I'm going to pop it up right here. It's a 70-yard bomb to Malcolm Perry. I'll probably loop it because I need to talk about it a little bit. Fantastic throw. The ball was in the air for 50 yards. He broke Brandon Jones. You could see Brandon Jones kind of grabs Malcolm Perry's jersey a little bit because Malcolm Perry put the burners on. He had to slow down a little bit, but I don't think he needed to because you could see him extending his arms to bring the ball in. Just love this touchdown. And you're like, wow, Doug, cool. Tua had a touchdown. That's cool. For one, it was over a 20-yard pass that a lot of people I'm hearing saying that he doesn't throw over 20-yard passes, which isn't true. Going back to what I said about the other players on the field, he has thrown more than 20-yard passes. It's just they're dropped. And he's thrown like 25, 20-yarders, all that stuff. But speaking of over 20 yards, then he throws a 30-yard touchdown pass to Ricardo Lewis. 20 yards in the air, and he puts it right between two players. I love hearing that. And then he had a third touchdown today. 3 touchdowns. Third one to Mac Hollins. Tua had a 3-touchdown day. So everyone's chiming and wanting and needing Tua to step up. And come on, Tua. We need to see a Joe Burrow day because we want to compare you to him, which you shouldn't. It's two different teams, two different offenses, two different defenses, two different experiences. There you go, people. 3 touchdown day from Tua. Let's talk about Fitz. He had a 14-yard touchdown pass to Parker. Byron Jones was covering. And then, unfortunately, he had a little bit of an interception to Bobby McCain. But, hey, it's practice. Just don't do that in the real game if you're out there, please, for the love of God. And also, Josh Rosen had a nice day today as well, throwing a nice touchdown pass on a slant route. So the quarterbacks are stepping up. They had one bad day, and the team was like, get your shit together. Kyle Van Noy, unfortunately, left practice with an upper body issue, but Jerome Baker did come back to practice today, so I'm hoping Kyle Van Noy and Noah Igbenogany also left. So did Patrick Laird. I'm hoping those 3 guys, it was just maybe a strain or something, and they do come back like Jerome Baker came back the next day. Gotchow, huge tackle for a loss on Howard, but then Howard has a huge run to the left side, and you know who that lead blocker was? The left guard, Eric Flowers, our new addition. And Borders tackle for a loss, and he's having a very, very impressive camp. I got the other one in there too. I just got the other paper in the bag. So that's what I got for you guys today. Be sure to comment below. Let me know what you think of Tua's big day. Fitz had an okay day. Rosen had a very nice day. What do you think about, Curtis Weaver unfortunately getting injured? Everything. Press conference, all that stuff. I want to know what you think. Comment it below, and I'm going to get to you guys. Comment of the day. And this comment comes from Anthony, and Anthony says, what's your most anticipated Dolphins game of the upcoming season, and what game are you thinking could potentially be an upset win like the Eagles win last season? That's a very good question, Anthony. My most anticipated game for me is week 1. I know it's going to be a little bit difficult, and I know I'm probably getting ahead of myself because the team needs to acclimate and stuff, but I think that the Dolphins can really do something, and I really think that they're going to surprise a lot of people, especially against the New England Patriots without Tom Brady. Yes, Cam Newton isn't one to just scoff at and forget about, but I do think so. And to looking at a game that we might shock, I think any of them. Seattle having to come to Miami, coming from the West Coast to the East Coast, we could shock them. The Chiefs, I think we could shock them. I'm looking over here because I have my schedule as my background. There's a lot of games I think we could shock them. In all honesty, probably like Chiefs game. Don't be surprised if we shock the Chiefs. But Anthony, thank you for the comment. I really do appreciate that. But that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. I was tweeting with a ton of you guys, and as soon as news was breaking, I was tweeting it out. So be sure to go check out my Twitter and my Instagram and follow me there. Fan to Fan Network. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, Sunday, we had our first little Sunday morning official live stream. I was on there, all that stuff. So check out fantofannetwork.com, Twitch channel, and they're starting a YouTube channel. So check that out. You want more Dolphin content besides me? Why? Am I not good enough for you? Just kidding. We got podcasters, beat writers, all those great people over at DolphinsTalk.com. Be sure to go over and check them out. Other than that, pretty sure there's going to be camp tomorrow, which means you're going to get another video like this tomorrow. Unfortunately, it's going to have to wait till after I get out of work. One day I won't have to go to work, and I'll just do this for a living. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Other than that, like usual, stay classy. Fins up.